We are live. Good counting in there, Lawrence. We are live. Hello, everybody that is already in the KeepNet and on the call. We'll wait a few moments because everyone's trickling in. But what I will start with is a little bit of housekeeping. We're not expecting any fire alarms, but if you do hear of it, no, of course, follow your own safety procedures. But if you have a look at the screen in your top right-hand corner, there should be a little bar, and on that bar there should be a little button that looks like a bubble, a question bubble that says chat. If you click into that chat, the audience chat, you'll see that there's a little comment from me already saying, here is where you can add any questions or things you'd like to share. So throughout, if you've got anything, can you go, oh, we do that and that's really good, or oh, I want to ask this question of whoever, just put it into the chat and we will come to it at the end. So don't worry about keeping those. Oh, someone's a thumbed up already. Someone's interacted. Thank you. Someone can use the chat. Love it. Also, for this webinar, I've been brave. I've set up a poll. I have no idea if it's going to work or not. I've tested it against myself. So later we'll have fun with that. It's a completely anonymous poll, but it'll be interesting to find out a little bit about sustainability in your care setting. So we'll see if I've figured that out right. But let's see. Right, there's some technical bits. Let's get started. Get everybody's face up on the screen. So hello, everybody. Welcome to Caring for Tomorrow. Let's make care sustainable. If this is your first session, welcome. We say to everybody, you will take one action away from this session. So make sure that you've got your pens and your paper and that you write at least one thing down that you're going to put into practice to make use of this time, because we want you to have got something positive out of these 45 minutes. Cool, she says. So what's happening today on Caring for Tomorrow? So for those of you that haven't met me before, I'm Hannah Montgomery and I'm the co-founder of a not-for-profit called Grace Cares. And today we are very, very lucky. Some of you will probably know her. She gets about, if you're on LinkedIn, you won't be able to turn it on without seeing this lovely lady. Give us a wave, Paula. We've got the Mary Poppins of social care with us, Paula Cashmore, telling us about how she actually managed to get funding within a care home. It's real, and it's not even a small amount of money. We're talking like 5 figures. Yeah, it's kind of exciting. Without further ado, we also have the lovely Lawrence. Hello, lovely Lawrence.
So I need a nickname. This is the thing I now have figured out. Like I've got no the something of like
the man of medication management. It's a triple threat. Boom. You're welcome. So Lawrence is part of the team over at Medicare, and they are the sponsors for this webinar, and they've done a lot of work in terms of sustainability as well. They've got a guide, 10 ways for sustainability in your care home, that you'll be able to get at the end of this session. But I will hand over to Lawrence to tell you a little bit about Medicare.
Yes, hello, and thank you, Hannah, and Paula as well. I won't take too much time. I'm just here to kind of say that we're obviously very proud to be supporting Grace Cares and the mission to make care sustainable, and these Caring for Tomorrow webinars. Hannah kind of briefly mentioned, but yeah, here at Medicare we support care homes with medication management through our eMAR solution that we have. So if anyone's looking to utilize an eMAR and wants to know a bit more, you'll be able to reach out. Like I say, there's a few details on the screen, and I can take you through that on a separate thing further down the line. But in terms of like, you know, the sort of links with waste and sustainability, obviously conscious of medication waste being such a large kind of problem in care homes, and the NHS have calculated that kind of worst culprits for carbon footprint and medication is basically the second highest culprit, and it's like 20% of that footprint is from that waste from medication. And obviously there's an environmental cost, but there's also a financial cost to that as well. So there's kind of money going down the drain whenever you're kind of not looking after your numbers of your stock and things like that. So it's one of the reasons we have, a medication platform that we do, and we've recently launched a new kind of revamped stock audit element, and that's there again just to help the care homes make sure that all of their numbers are correct as they can be. You're always got the truth, so that you're not over ordering. You're always making sure you've got what you need in stock, so the residents are there, but you're not sitting there with piles and piles of stuff in a cupboard that then goes out of date, and all the things that come alongside that as well. But yeah, that's me. And again, like I say, we've mentioned the sustainability book, but you can chuck that on at the end, I'm sure, as something we can link to. But I'll let you get on with the actual interesting part of the content.
I found that interesting, Lawrence. You have got to think about it. So think about social care. We are bigger than the NHS, even though everyone knows the brand of the NHS. And we have a huge environmental impact globally, but in the UK, really, really, really huge. And think of every piece of medication, and where does the medication go when, I have no idea, where does medication go when it's needs to be disposed of? Is it incinerated? Then what seems to happen with that? Is it what happens? Do you know?
I think it's usually incinerated.
Yeah, like you'll be
incinerated.
Yeah, like either it's disposed either by your pharmacy or through a private waste contractor. It's often incinerated. There's certain things that can't be incinerated because of reasons to do with that. Controlled drugs need to be dealt with in a very specific way and have to be signed. And even if it's out of date and all that sort of stuff, the transportation of that has to be correct, and you've got all the guidelines around it. So there's all these extra elements that kind of go on top of, shifting all this stuff around and like making sure it gets there. But yeah, every time it is incinerated. So yeah, there's obviously all the emissions off the back of that.
Yeah, and just on a personal level, I know I buy the most new fandangled medication that's out to help me. Anything that tells me I'm going to look younger, I'm there for it. And then you do it for a couple of weeks, and then you're like, oh gosh. And then how do you get rid of that? And people then, are they flushing it down the toilet? What are they doing? And then that's going into our ecosystem, and it so therefore goes on, and that's not making us healthy. And then it's going to have a larger impact on social care as a whole. Anyway, it all ties together, and that's the kind of thing I want people to take away today, that it's all circular. What can I do? Just this little thing. It all does make a huge impact. And that's one of the reasons why Grace Cares exists. So we are a not-for-profit, and predominantly we deal with pre-loved care equipment, because I was caring for somebody and they needed a stair lift, and I was speaking to somebody that had a waste management company, and he said, charity shops aren't insured to sell it. I just break it down and recycle it. And I was like, people need this equipment. This is insane. What are we doing? And then this crazy idea has now got out of hand, and now we have Grace Cares and there's units, and we're helping people all over the place. But it's just that small idea that can make a big change and help a lot of people. So we partner with Staffordshire County Council, so across all of their, we can't call them tip sites anymore, HWRC sites, household waste recycling centres, the fancy name. They have hubs for storage containers, and the public and care homes can go and drop their care equipment there, and then we go pick it up and it comes to us. The NHS donate their used care equipment from us, and we also work with care providers nationwide. We then get that equipment, we clean it, infection control, maintenance, PAT testing, Lola testing, depending on what item it is. It goes through all of that, and then we sell it at half its original price or less. So we're about to sell crutches back into one stream of the NHS, which is taking a long time. Anything with the NHS is, but that's exciting. And we work and provide to a lot of care providers as well. But with that money, we then go on to deliver social value. So at the minute, we had a calculation as of last year's figures, and for every £1 that's spent with Grace Cares, we then deliver between £4 and £7 worth of social value. So in terms of how that would be good within a care setting, if you were to use Grace Cares as a supplier, or even in terms of business continuity, a backup supplier, if a COVID ever happened again and you couldn't get stuff imported, have us as kind of on those plans. We do the impact reporting. So we worked with Birmingham City University, and we calculated the carbon footprint of every piece of care equipment. So once you then purchase care equipment, you can have that carbon savings as your evidence. And I know I've been talking about it for a while, but it now is live. Our website has the carbon footprint of every piece of equipment next to it. So if you were to set up an account and purchase something from it, then you could pull off a report at the end of each month saying how much carbon that you've saved. If you email me separately and you want the social value impact, I can give you those figures separately, because the next stage for my next 6 months is how do I integrate. So for instance, if you've purchased a bed and it's £350, I can then say that £350 that you donated for that bed to Grace Cares has been used to support, I mean, a most recent one, funeral funds for an unpaid caregiver. So that's gone into the hardship grant pot. So that's kind of how it kind of goes full circle with us. But why does sustainability matter within your care setting? Why do you care about it? And it's not just when you say sustainability, do you both instantly think I need to hug a tree? Do you know what I mean? Everyone goes, it's sustainability. It's cool. I've planted a tree, or I've done something. It's the sustainability of the whole business. And I'm going to take you through a model in a little moment called the triple bottom line, because that is a really yummy framework that just makes it a bit more understandable and relatable. But it can give you a competitive advantage. Think about it. You've got people that are looking for care for their loved one. What could set you apart? If you're caring about the environment and caring about sustainability and caring socially, that kind of reflects what you're about. And that would mean to me, whether it be subconscious or on a conscious level, they're going to care about the care that they're delivering. So it gives you that competitive advantage, because customers, and we're going to go into, I've got some stats, so I'm not just making it up, some actual research stats on what consumers are doing and what they're thinking. Obviously, we've got the climate challenges and changes there, but it's also the sustainability of your business as well. That's what it's profit as well. I know it all boils down. We've had a webinar previously, and if you haven't watched that one, it was Ravi from ACI Care, and he was really honest about it. He was like, oh, we're embracing this, we're doing that, but it helps financially as well. Like, it is saving us money. And I know Paula is going to go into that in terms of what she's been doing as well later. So what are the CQC saying? Who knows? Who knows what the CQC are saying from day to day? But I have managed to find them citing sustainability in reports, but just on the NHS side of things. So they've cited in an inspection of Nottinghamshire Healthcare NHS Foundation Trust, leaders were aware of the trust's impact on environmental sustainability and were able to provide examples where they had made changes to reduce the trust's carbon footprint. These included growing green spaces, improving food menus to reduce waste, and using alternative cleaning products. So there's some notes there. Maybe that's one of your actionable things that you're going to go off and do. In terms of the next one, the trust was making good progress around environmental sustainability, with some significant projects having major impacts. However, some clarity was needed in some areas of reporting. So maybe looking at your reporting or baseline measurement would be something that you would go and have a look at. The trust was making progress around environmental sustainability, with some projects having major impacts in reducing carbon emissions. So all of these are referencing waste and carbon footprint and carbon emissions. So just having some nod to that in your policies might be something worth looking at. So in terms of the regulations, sustainability, as we've said, isn't just about planting a tree or hugging a tree. Someone's having a party over there, aren't they? Love it. You know what they're doing? They're getting up and they're like, I'm going to go and plant that tree. I'm going to go and doing it now. I'm going to do that action. Love it. So if we have a look at all the other parts of the regulation, there's elements where sustainability is within those as well. Because as we said at the beginning, it's a circular economy. It should be part of everything, not just a token throw away. So maybe have a look at your policies and have a look how you could integrate sustainability and ESG, which is environmental, social and governance, by the way. I know people bat around acronyms, and see how you can weave those within all of your policies. So the triple bottom line, this is what I was talking about. So it's a concept from a chap called John Elkington, and he kind of is talking about, yes, it's all about profit. That's the bottom line. But actually, we need to think about people, whether that be staff or the people that you're looking after, and the planet as well. All three of these are important and should be something that you're regularly looking at. So in terms of kind of making it integrated within care settings, so the people thing, the people part of it, caring for people goes beyond providing just excellent care. It also includes, you've got to look at the well-being of your employees, contributing then to people around where you are delivering that care, the community, and then just maintaining ethical standards within all operations. So looking at the people element is quite a big chunk of work, and I'm sure with HR and people, you've got that tied in there. Then in terms of the planet, care providers' effect on the environment. So reducing waste, that one's been talked about. Conservation of resources, so just not using more than you have to be doing, and lowering the carbon footprint. And we're going to give you some top tips on how to do that in a bit, but that's something that you should be thinking about. And then in terms of profit, we need to exist. Profit sometimes is a bad word, isn't it? And people, oh no, we're not here to make money. The more money we make, the more we can support people, more we can support the planet, and it just grows with that cool full circular economy anyway. So it's not bad, but achieving profit should not come at the expense of social or environmental responsibilities as well. They all kind of need to balance. Think of it like a balance. So this is the poll I was talking to you about that I'm going to try and launch. Let's see. So when the board or your senior leadership team are talking about sustainability, what do you think they usually mean? Hopefully something will have popped up and there'll be a poll somewhere on your screen. If you can see a poll, please press it. So do you believe that, do you honestly just don't know? And that's an answer. Do you think they're thinking about profit the whole time and they're talking about the sustainability of the business? We've got to make the profit. Do you think they're talking about planet? Yep, the environmental, that's where the brain goes, or the people, the sustainability of the operation is going to be due to people. I can see that some people have voted. So some
I was
people
going to say, I can't see anything. So I was like, I was going to vote, but obviously
well,
it's only for the real people.
Add to stream. Oh, whoa, Lawrence, your face is up. Can people see? People can see the live.
So you can see the live results.
Something's happening. Oh, we've got 11 now. Don't you just love live webinar when you haven't used something except for with yourself? Because I could see it, so I thought everyone could. Oh, numbers changing, but at the minute, over 50% are saying, just as I had assumed and we'd all nodded to earlier, that planet and environment are what the leadership and kind of senior teams mean when they're talking about sustainability. So that is interesting. So I'm going to try and stop that poll now and see what happens and see if I can get that away. Maybe I can't. Oh, this is going to be fun, isn't it? Right. Let's see. Poll result. Let's remove from stream. Yes. Okay. We're rocking it. We're back. Thank you, everyone.
You're growing, Hannah. You're growing.
Look at this. The sustainability of this webinar by involving it. Yes. Cool. Okay. So why does this triple bottom line matter? It's just another thing. Maybe it just seems idealistic. But actually, innovative organizations have shown that it's actually is possible to achieve financial abundance whilst doing good. So I've been going around to try and have a look at some reports that are out there to see that it works. So many care providers as well that have embraced sustainability have found that committing to sustainable practices can lead to financial benefits. Now, in terms of IBM, if you have a look at this QR code at the top corner, you can scan and get a copy of the report. It'll also be emailed to you afterwards. But in a consumer support report, they found that half of consumers are willing to pay a premium for sustainable products and services. And additionally, purpose-driven customers, so they're those who choose products and brands aligned to their values, represent the largest market segment at 44%. So 44% of people are purpose-driven consumers. So they choose based on purpose, and they choose brands that align with their values. So if their values are aligning to sustainable practices and will pay a premium, which half the consumers are willing to pay for, that's the market that you're potentially going for. So in the context of social care, embracing sustainable practices will not only just meet the growing demand for a responsible, safe service delivery, but it will also as well attract investors. I don't know how many people have been looking to get more money, and we are talking about funding, so I thought we'd trip in something like that. But you can use the triple bottom line internally, but externally it matters as well. I've got a little snippet here. So investors are demanding more sustainable options as well. In response to growing investor activism, global asset manager BlackRock, and they're huge, they're like big, everyone hears of BlackRock, have started pressuring the biggest polluters in its portfolio to disclose their emissions and decarbonising targets. And similarly, two US oil giants have recently faced shareholder rebellions because their clean energy strategies haven't been ambitious enough. So those 44% of people that are purpose driven will then be in the investors as well that are then pushing this forward. So 77% of consumers who are motivated to purchase from companies that are making the world a better place, while 73% of investors state that efforts to improve the environment and society contribute to their environmental decisions. So it's not a bad thing to be doing. So how can we go about doing it? Let's have a look. So whatever care setting you're in, whether you're a care home, dom care, supported living, you will have an office or you'll have people working from home. So where can we get the quick wins from that? So turning off devices instead of standby. And I was one of these people. I was always, I'll just put it on standby because it'll make it quicker for me in the morning to turn it on. I am one of those. But it actually saves quite a lot of kilowatt per hour per device per year. It's a simple thing that everybody can do. And that, the compound effect of that will soon mount up. So just putting that as a new thing. I know it's change management for everybody to do. Explain why you're doing it, what the benefits are, report on what the output is now, report on what you've achieved. That's a quick win. We will be speaking to Paula later that will quantify and qualify this, but switching to LED lighting. So it uses 75 to 80% less energy, and the items themselves have a longer lifespan. So what's not to love there? Reducing printing. I know Lawrence will just be going, yes, digital, but using digital documents, it's, and you're reducing that printing. And I know everyone likes the little crutch of the printing, and some things are good to be printed, but it's not needed. And then you've not got those big, horrible ugly filing cabinets in the offices. You'll get more space back. But if you do have to print on your cheapest print settings, so the least amount of ink can go into your advanced setting, and then default it to double side printing as well. Smart heating. So even could you lower the temperature in the office by one degree? That could save 8% of energy annually. You can report on that, and that's something that you could measure. And sustainable procurement, that's one to have a look at straight away. Are you buying eco-friendly products? Now, that is a little bit of a hard one, because sometimes there is the greenwashing. Just because someone's put a sticker on it and says that it's eco-friendly, is it? But an eco-friendly product would be, let's not get single-use plastic item. Let's invest in something that we can reuse. That's a more eco-friendly product. And then that reduces your scope 3 emissions, which we're going to talk about in the next webinar. So if you're interested in knowing more about scope 3 emissions, sign up for the next one. So where are we going to get the money from, Hannah? Where are we going to get the money from to do all of this stuff? Yeah, we think it's important. We want to do it. So there are funding and grants streams out there, and there are support for knowledge transfer as well. So in terms of energy and retrofit, I know that there's a boiler upgrade scheme out there at the moment, up to $7,500, and local authorities are offering out net zero grants. There's also EV charging. There's workplace charging schemes out there that cover up to 75%. You've also got training and support to learn more, to help the people, whether that's the people that you're supporting or your staff as well. So I know that the Institute of Health and Social Care Management have a greener group that you might want to sign up to. The National Care Forum, they also have a greener group that meet. You could look at getting a certification. If you have a look at some of the previous webinars that we've done, we've had companies on that have been certified B Corp, but there are other things. You've got your ISO 14001 that's environmental. There's different frameworks that you could follow. And we also have a resource that we wrote with the lovely Mark Tops. Oh, you won't be able to see it because I've got a fancy background on, but I did have it to the side. It's a workbook that you can work through. Did you deliver sustainable care today? That was kindly sponsored by Attis Care. But what I would really recommend you go and do, if this is your one action that you haven't done already, go to your local authority. They have an economic development team there. They will have somebody that will know what grants are available, what's coming up, and they also often have environmental networks. So Grace Cares, we're in the West Midlands, and we take advantage of SBEN, which is Staffordshire Business and Environmental Network. And we also take advantage of Sustainability West Midlands. There's a network. So there's probably a government funded network and supported network that is near you to support you. But if you go straight away to your local authority, they'll be able to hook you up and help you out. So without further ado, we have the lovely Paula Cashmore with us. And I'll let her tell you everything. Go for it.
Okay, thanks, Hannah. And I must admit, my role as nominated individual here, I had a lot of fish to fry at Solihull Care. There were a lot of priorities that I was looking at, and sustainability wasn't a priority, but budgets were. Now, we had to replace the boiler, and we didn't know, we weren't looking for grant funding, we just thought, oh, we have to replace the boiler. So we replaced a boiler because we had to. It had come to its end of its life. And we found that we were saving 10% on utilities. That also coincided with hearing about a grant that was being awarded across the West Midlands. And I heard about that from 2 different sources. And I looked at it and I thought, do you know what? We could actually apply for this grant. So we just made that initial contact with them and said, how do we go about this? What do we need to do? And they literally held our hand through the whole process. We had to provide information. There were forms to fill in. We had to give bank statements. We had to have an energy assessment, which they did for free. And we could keep that whether we went ahead with the applying for the grant or not. And we just literally filled the forms in and applied. As you know, as a busy manager, you miss things and sent it back. You haven't filled this signature in. Like, okay, fill it back. Hold on, that quote is out of date. But they didn't just disregard our application because there were a few things wrong. I mean, CQC at the moment, get anything wrong on an application, you're sent back to the beginning. And that wasn't the case with this. They really did hold our hand all the way through it and said, yes, we will award you this grant. The only stipulation was that we have to report back on our utility bills for 12 months after we've had the work done. So we got the work completed, sent in the invoice for the work, and on £110,000 worth of work, we got 50% back into our bank as soon as we presented them with the invoices that we paid. So, you know, that's £55,000 back into reinvesting in the home, which we're using for refurbishing some of the rooms. And was it simple? Yes, totally simple. I saw the notification about the grant in a regular local authority email, just totally dismissed it because it was just one of those things. Me being in the industry 40 years, really cynical. We were talking about it before. What hoops do I have to jump through to get £2.50? Can't be bothered. But the fact that this had come from personal recommendation, from a request to have a look at it from two parties, I thought, I need to do this. And that's why I'm happy to come onto this webinar. I understand how busy managers are. I understand what profits need to look like. But this is something that I can really get behind. If you have a grant available to you, don't be scared to apply.
Yeah, and that's not short pocket change, is it? It's
exactly
£55,000. That's like crazy. And how much money do you think from making these changes in terms of saving? So you said 10% savings on utilities, but that was just changing the boiler before this funding kind of came into play.
Yes.
What do you think? Do you have to report on, and how robust are the reportings within the 12 months that you have to?
Because they ask for copies of your detailed utility bills, and they calculate all the wattage. When you get your electricity bill and it says how much you've spent and what's and like, I never look at that. I just look at what's going out of my bank at the end of the month.
Yeah.
But the West Midlands Authority look at all the wattage and how when it's being used and how much you've saved. And again, this is a 70-bed nursing home in the West Midlands, built in 1998, I believe. So, there's probably a lot we can do. And the fact that we were awarded this grant and we're now on the sustainability journey means that a lot of the staff have had their eyes open as to what can be done. We had the slimline radiators, which are more energy efficient, which also helps us because we have a little bit more room in each of the rooms. And we have the LED lighting, which was changed from fluorescent. And as a lot of people know, you can't get fluorescent now, so you will have to be changing to a different style of lighting once your fluorescent is redundant. So this all happened in one, and it's just been really beneficial.
Yeah, and the staff there, so that it's helped in terms of the people within the business as well. They've seen it as a positive, or did they see it as and how long did it take in a 70-bed home to make those changes? Was it impactful on the business? Like, oh gosh, we've got to impact people.
No, they were really good. And another thing from a sustainability, you have to get 3 quotes, obviously, to see and justify why you go with a certain person. So we got 3 quotes. One from a national provider was almost double the other 2, and the other 2 were local people, local businesses. So the fact that we chose local businesses, we basically guaranteed the survival of one of those businesses, because it was a big job for him. But they knew the home, they knew the area, they had done little bits of work in the home before, and they managed the impact. We wouldn't have known that they were there. They were really good because we chose the right contractor. We chose somebody local who knew the home, and it was all done. I think we had a 6-week window, and all the radiators in 70 bedrooms, communal rooms, was done by the end of 4 weeks.
Wow. Okay.
They worked hard.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. And I mean, I've been to the home. I was like, oh, I want to come and have a look. And you can see one of the rooms was getting completely refurbished and everything. And you could see, because they're changing the carpets and everything, the size of the radiator, like you said, was so much bigger before. And actually it's helped refresh the whole home. It looks more modern as well, more appealing for me as an outsider. If I was looking around for somewhere for one of my loved ones to go, I'd be like, oh, that looks nice. Just refreshing.
And from a practical and marketing point of view, if you're having work and you're becoming more sustainability, it's another post to put on Facebook, to show those people that do have a purpose. Most people choose a home by location, by facilities, and by price. But like you said earlier, people that do care about sustainability, their ears will prick up, that home cares about sustainability, and it will be another tick on their choice box when they're considering care for their loved one.
Yeah. So what's next then, Paula? What's the home doing next? Now you've got the bug.
Yes, we're looking now at doing some of the, the timed lights. So we can put timers onto the lights in order to do that. And we have been told there may be a second round of grants, and we may be replacing windows for more energy efficient double glazing.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good one. And I tell you, one of the ones that I continually hear when I'm speaking to care home providers in terms of what's a quick one, I want to save money now, just insulation. Insulation can make a huge difference, because I mean, you said that 1998 around about that the home was built.
Yes, the building
Some of
was,
the homes are really archaic and old, and the amount of heat leaking through the windows and leaking out of the roof, they're your quick wins straight away, especially when we know the old adage, if you go into a care home and it's like a furnace, but the window's open, but you do have the heating on 3,000,000%, because no one can be cold.
Yes, but that's another importance of the individual thermostatically controlled radiators, because again, person-centered choice. Some people will be cold. I'm afraid if I go into a care home, I'm going to be having a blanket and the heater on full, but those, because they're individual thermostatically controlled, every room can be at the right temperature for that person.
Yeah, no, cool. No, awesome. So does anybody have, let's go into question and share time. Has anyone got any top tips of something, we put insulation in, we saved this amount, or we've done this with the staff and they loved it? Anything that you've been doing that you'd like to share, or any questions? Let me go into, so Fiona, to keep in budget rather than profit. So that's the driver for them, is to embrace sustainability, to keep in as they're a charity. I know being a charity well, Fiona, I know it well. You just got to spin those plates, and that is sustainability of what you're doing, isn't it? Andrew, we work with multiple PPE and stationery suppliers across the country, along with utility firms. What steps can we implement to ensure that all our suppliers are meeting ESG targets when supplying products and services to our sites? And is there a checklist that we can go through to ensure we're working with suppliers who work to strict ESG targets and guidelines? So in terms of a first easy step is every supplier that you have, ask them for their ESG targets and guidelines, ask them, and then maybe make it a annual thing, or however regularly you want to do it, that you ask them again to update their figures. You can also look at how far they are away from you. I know Paula said that she used local, and how then you're dealing with the social impact of that, but also less carbon. But you can put your own checklist in place. We've got a whole chapter in the workbook, and I'll show you a link to that in a moment, that helps you kind of choose suppliers and why you would choose suppliers, and things that you could ask them and targets that you could ask them for. But there's no CQC have given you a checklist, or Care England have given you a checklist, or the government. There is no checklist, but it would be worth you having one, maybe having in your procurement rules that if a business doesn't hit this, you will not purchase from them. Or maybe it's something as simple as, now I know this is a swear word for some people, so close your ears, but Amazon. If you order from Amazon, maybe you speak to the office staff and you say, right, we only, unless it's an emergency item, of course, but if it's not, if it's general, every Friday the order goes in, or every Monday the order goes in and then comes in. So you put everything in the basket and you don't press go until that one time. So there's different things that you could do yourself in terms of having stricter ESG policies with procurement. But if you have those bare minimum checklists before you even use those suppliers, or your staff are briefed so they know when they're looking that they have to be looking for X, Y, and Z, that could be something that is a starting point. All of these things are all great ideas and there's so many to do, but the one thing is to just have one action that you'll take away and do. It's compound effect. And change management. I know everyone in care, change happens and it's scary. And, Lawrence with digital systems, Paula going in, helping look at care delivery and making it sustainable. It's the change management. So just make it a little step straight away. So Ravi, hi Ravi. I think it's Ravi that we referenced earlier, might be. We're trialling water saving shower heads, and residents and staff have said that they are actually better than the normal ones. So we're now rolling it out fully. Oh, well, that's cool. Saving the water and better, because it's not always a play off one or the other. Because some people go, oh, I have tried those, and I do use one. I found one that works. But the sustainable, environmental friendly deodorants. Now, some of those don't work. I can assure you, some of them don't work. So you are trialing it and actually you think, oh gosh, if I'm going to be more sustainable, is it going to be a worse result, but I'm being more sustainable? There doesn't have to be that playoff. And here just shows actually it can be better than the normal ones. It can really show positive things, just like with the LED lighting, like what Paula was saying. Awesome. If you do have any questions, pop them in.
Yeah. I would say, like you say, is it a trade-off? No, we can't have a worse product. We can't have worse care from choosing sustainability, but we might have to invest a little bit more to get the same. But when you're thinking, and me as a quality compliance, consultant, when you're thinking of the cost of compliance, if you're spending just a little bit more on your products because they're sustainable, think about the impact on your quality, especially in PAMs, because again, local authority very often have sustainability clauses, and so you will score higher. You will have a better impression. So it's the trade-off is a little bit more money actually may mean a better quality score, even if the quality of the product is the same.
Yeah, really, really good point. And the Social Value Act as well with the local authority I've got that because Paula gave me a very good top tip. So in the next webinar, we're going to be focusing and looking a bit onto that. But that's a really, really valid point. It's not just what's the long term of it, this short term slight input. Awesome. So by now, the end of the webinar, you're thinking, yes, I'm going to go. I've got my one action. I'm not sure what my one action is. I'm going to leave here and So you'll be sent this recording. I think it goes out automatically half an hour after this is gone. So you can always go back and have a little listen. But we've got some other resources here. So I know Lawrence and I mentioned about the 10 ways to increase your care home sustainability. There's a QR code there that you can scan and get a copy of that resource. It's also, we're going to email you out a link when we're emailing you out this recording. We have the next Caring for Tomorrow webinar. So we're focusing on a case study with the sustainability officer, and he has a fabulous name, Adam Van Winsum. Doesn't that just sound wonderful? He's a sustainability officer at Voyage Care. So they're a nationwide provider of supported living for adults with additional needs. And they developed their ESG policies and strategies with the people they support. And they're doing some really yummy stuff. So that we'll definitely get some very good top tips from that. The resources that I kept talking about, we have the free taster version of the Did You Deliver Sustainable Care Today? We also have the full workbook version. So if you scan the QR code there, you'll have access to that too. But all of these links will be sent to you post webinar. So we're on time. I'm never on time. Love it. So just a massive, massive thank you for Paula giving up her time, telling you about what she's been doing. I mean, she's a font of knowledge. She is the Mary Poppins of social care. Her details are there. If within your care setting you need some support or help, or you just want a friendly person to talk to, she's also got a community, an online community, Achievable Care Quality community that you can sign up to. It's a low monthly fee. This woman is crazy. She just wants to help people, and she can send you more information. But having a Paula on your side, I think you want a Paula on your side. So thank you, Paula, for coming and sharing all your knowledge.
Thank you, Hannah.
No worries. And we wouldn't be doing this without the lovely Lawrence and the legends over there that actually care. And they do good software. So if you haven't got your eMAR sorted, or you've got niggles with what you're using, please do ask Lawrence any questions and get in touch. So I've got a minute over now because I got too excited by saying thank yous, but we'll let everybody go. I shall end the live, but feel free to get in touch, and see you all soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.